How to remove the urgency of life. I'm only 21. How to remove that sense of urgency that I have to feel I have to do something before a certain age or otherwise I'm too late. And gain the sense of freedom that it's my life, not society that anyone else's. I don't have to be disciplined if I am not, if it's not a bad thing, not something negative or something to be critical. I am what I am, I would chase after what I want, prioritize how I want, nothing to gain urgency, at the end, move in life at my pace. So I thought this was quite interesting because I don't think there's ever a way to remove urgency from life, but I also think it very much depends on you as a person and what it is you're heading towards. Right now, you'll have a lot of people that just want a bit of a slow, casual life where they just want a bit of relax all the time and do maybe a bit of the bare minimum so that they can just relax. And so, in that instance, well, you're probably not going to have as much urgency, right? And I think one of the best things that helped me remove all of this, or at least this intense urgency, was just getting off social media or consuming far less, right? Because a lot of the times you're going to see these lifestyles presented to you, or these people telling you should do this, this, and that. Um, or you have sort of young guys that are making however many amounts of money, telling you should do this, this, and that, and that you're running out of time. So I think really my thoughts. I mean, like I said before, it depends on what you're doing and where you're going, right? Because for example, if you're just trying to work on things meaningful to you, turn that into a living and stuff, it's like, look, as long as you're working on that and you're giving that enough time, then that's fine, right? I think a life without a level of urgency, to me, almost feels as though there's nothing perhaps meaningful that you're working towards. I think everything had a little bit of urgency, or it should do, because then you feel like you should get something done. So I can obviously understand this, but also, like, right, there are the negative sides to urgency, such as feeling like you need to do absolutely everything every single day, give your 110%, otherwise, you're falling behind, right? And it's like, well, that can be good driving and motivation, but long term, I just think, and from experience, it has made me feel pretty miserable in the past. So, all I say about this, I think really, when I'm looking at this, I think that as long as you are working towards things that are meaningful to you and you're putting in the time and energy in order to see that grow, whether it's a career, whether it's some sort of hobby, a project, doesn't matter. That's fine. Right. So, for example, for me, originally I was spending, or at least I had been spending about 20 hours a week doing game development. When actually my goal was like, right, well, ideally speaking, I want to be spending around 40 hours a week to feel as though I am putting enough time and energy into it. And I know last week I did about 35 hours, right? So I was really happy with that, given that the previous 4 or 5 weeks I'd just done around 20, 23 hours. So that was really key. Now, the big difference, for example, with the work that I do is that I quite enjoy the work and I know that if I'm giving it the time and energy, it's going to pay off. It's just a matter of making sure that with that level of urgency, I keep turning up to that. So, what I really say for this video is I don't really think there's a benefit to just entirely removing urgency. I think there are things that you should have urgency towards. And I think as guys, it's pretty impossible to remove urgency because I think urgency comes from a level of responsibility. So, yeah, but what I will say is like, look, if you're working on things meaningful to you, if you're, doing things is that is going to help you get to a better place, something that you're more fulfilled by, that to me makes more sense, right? Because there's going to be urgency with that, there's going to be fulfillment, and you're going to be more confident in the direction you're headed. So let me know what your thoughts are on this. I think just looking at this, I think that look, it really does depend on the person, right? If you just want a slow, sort of, more relaxed life where I don't know, you sort of, do your usual work at your job and then come back and just sort of chill out. Look, that like that's you, that's your life, and that's totally okay. And perhaps you don't really need to have as much urgency there. But if you're someone that perhaps wants a different life, right? Perhaps you want I don't know more money or whatever it is, I think at the end of the day, if you want more responsibility in your life, you're probably going to want to have more urgency as well. But let me know what you think, and I'll be interested to hear your stories. But that said, chat soon.